Hi everybody, my name is Daniel. I'm working for Joanneum Research in Graz, and I will talk about one of our projects today. I thought it is interesting for this conference because on the one hand we are doing a lot of stuff in R here within this project, and on the other hand we collect data from national statistical authorities, and one important part of the project is to interconnect between statistical offices, users of the data using different platforms. So the project itself is called the European Tertiary Education Register, short ETER. In this project, we collect and provide data on higher education institutions in Europe at the institutional level. This is kind of unique and has not been done before at this large scale. So you can find institutional data at national statistical authorities, for example, but on the one hand, only for some breakdowns, so not in the details we have in the database, and not for all Europe. The project actually ended in 2019, but there is currently a tender out for another 3 years, and the tender submission deadline was on 1st of December, so ETER will continue. We don't know yet if we will continue to do it. We have data about 37 countries and have about 3,000 institutions per year in the data. We collected data for 6 academic years and have 7,000 observations now and a bit more than 600 variables. If you are interested in the data or higher education in Europe, then you can have a look at eterproject.com. Some challenges which may be interesting regarding this conference. We need to collect data from 37 plus different sources, plus because we get the data sometimes or in some countries from statistical offices and ministries. Another challenge is that we need to ensure tidy data in a process we call data validation, where we need to find mistakes in the data, so or missings or inconsistencies or maybe wrong formats. Then also we need to ensure high data quality because these data are used from the scientific community in the field of higher education. So these data are extensively used because they are unique. And also these data are used from ministries, from the European Commission, from the OECD, from the European University Association for policy analysis and policy advice. And the challenge is to constantly interact between the data deliverer, country managers. These are people within the consortium which are responsible for a country each, and the data collection managers. This is what we at Joanneum Research do. So you will in a minute see what's the challenge here. The first challenge is to collect data in a very heterogeneous environment. So we have about 40 data deliverers which use their own tools and platforms. And first we thought, okay, let's build an interface where each data deliverer can import their data into the database. But after some discussions, we discovered very, very quickly that this will not work because of the heterogeneity of the data deliverer. So we went a step back and used Microsoft Excel, so probably one of the simplest solutions for that, and collected the data within Excel. So we provided a template and collected data. We saw very quickly that there are many, many small problems in the data. So typos, swapped rows and columns, and so on. Just small things, also methodological things, because this was the first time the data have been collected. And we needed a lot, really a lot of feedback loops. And this was very time consuming for us as consortium and also for the data deliverer. So we started to implement conditional formattings as checks. And if there is a problem in completeness, if there is a problem with formats, if there is a problem with some logical inconsistency, then the data deliverer get a color in the cells, and they see immediately which type of problem they have, and they know, okay, they need to have a second look here. This improved the whole process immediately and a lot, and we were able to get through each data collection with 1 or 2 feedback loops at most. After the data collection, we import the data into our MongoDB database and produce automated data validation and data quality outputs. To do this, we extract the data from our database via API. We use the R packages HTTR and JSON-Lite because our data are in JSON format, and we use tidyverse for the processing. And here is where the constant interaction with the different groups comes into play, because we need results from the analysis which can be used from country managers and also statistical offices to check the data. We produce outputs and then use these for flagging and for updating the metadata. The first output we produce is produced within the data validation process. Here we check for completeness of data, for accuracy, so mostly formats, and for consistency. So if sums of breakdowns are equal to totals, if an institution, for example, has PhD students, although they cannot because the highest degree delivered is at the master level, such things. And we produce one PDF report for each country and each year. We do this using the R Markdown package and the Cable Extra package for tables, and produce these PDFs. You see here a snippet of the Austrian data validation report for 2016. And the rule is, for each detected case, there must be a flag and a remark, or the case must be corrected. At the end, you only have explained cases within these PDF reports. Then, after the data validation, we check for data quality. Data quality is more sophisticated because we use statistical methods in order to define thresholds for multi-annual checks. If you remember, we have now 6 years of data, so that's a good basis to do that. And for outlier detection. So we determine thresholds, we calculate test values within R, we generate Microsoft Excel files for country managers, and we use conditional formatting for this MS Microsoft Excel files because we already have 2 rounds of checks before, less sophisticated, but although, and we already flagged data before, and we don't want to do the same work twice. So we use conditional formatting and highlight all the already cleared cases. So if the country managers get the files, the Excel files, in order to check them, they see immediately, okay, I don't have to check this case because it has been already flagged and explained. Perfect. And with these Excel files, the country managers can also go back to statistical offices if they cannot clear these cases themselves. We do also external data quality checks. So we compare the data with, for example, Eurostat national aggregates, with uMulti-rank data, which are also institutional level data, but just part of the ETER data, and both in number of institutions included and in numbers of variables. but still there are still some overlaps, and we check them. And also with a register for public research organizations called RAISES. We produce the data quality reports using the OpenXLSX package from R and the Tidyverse package for data processing. You can see here a snippet of the output file for multi-annual test cases. You see that we have a lot of columns within these Excel output. That's because the country managers need more input than just the detected cases, because it may be that there is an institution which is just young, 2, 3, 4 years old. Of course, there will be a lot of volatility in the data. It is a great difference if it is a public institutions or a private institutions. It makes a big deal of a difference if institution is a university or if it is a university of applied sciences, and so on. So they need a bit more information to evaluate the detected cases. If you are interested, we also wrote a paper about the data quality approach in ETER. It is linked in the slides here, and you can download it from the web. Also do quite some other R stuff in ETER. For example, we use R for analyzing the website tracking data from Matomo. We used Google Analytics before, but now we use Matomo because we can host the data on our service, and also to produce reports and do data analysis. Okay, thank you very much. This was my short presentation. If you are interested in our work, please let me know. You can find me on our website www.joanneum.at. Thank you very much, and bye bye.